Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically are discussing one of the topic that is related to server only, and this is basically connected to the PHP basically. So one of the person told that this is connected up to what level basically. So we will go little bit detail about the server basically. One of the person told that the automobile industry basically have the that middle screen basically which displays everything basically the vehicle information, the petrol engine information, the engine information, the battery information, then the how basically you are sitting, will the seat belt is basically weared or not. So each and every information basically they displays that also, that basically the which type of engine basically you are having in the vehicle. So in depth information basically they display. So one of the person told that is client, right, basically. So assume that basically Maruti, TCS, or basically sorry the Tata Group, basically Tata Motors and the Renault Duster, they basically have 1 crore car basically moving in the market. So they have basically one server basically. So assume that basically Renault Duster or Maruti basically have one server basically in Hong Kong or basically in USA or in Europe. So they basically can control their human bodies basically. So they basically company basically never do the bad basically. Company do basically bad. Or for example, you purchased one Renault Duster car. For example, I purchased Sunil or NAIR basically purchased the Renault Duster car. So the Renault Duster server basically that is in USA basically. They will do bad of me basically. They will never do bad of me basically. But they can control the human bodies basically. They can control the human brains also basically. So this is the fact about the server basically. So you should know basically. You should aware basically whenever you are purchasing any cars. So this the automobile industry group basically must know basically. So same way basically the entire computers and the clients and server concept basically is like this only basically. In previous example basically I told that 15 business development officer they have designed the roadmaps of the projects. This roadmap projects basically is designed by the IBM. Assume that basically the IBM server basically is designing the IBM, Microsoft, Compaq basically whatever computers basically server basically who are creating the servers basically. They designed these 15 business development officers work in computer format basically. That is a he will send the mail to this person. After that person basically after the mail is sent to that person, the person is the person who got the mail, he will be sending the mail to another person. Like this exact roadmap basically is designed. That is basically called as one chain basically. So when this chain basically connects, then only basically he gets the projects, and that is decided by the company owner basically. Same way basically in automobile industry basically, which sales executive basically supposed to get the car basically to sell basically, that is decided by the company owner only basically. Even basically the sales manager can't control that basically, because how he can control 100 people basically are coming into sales sorry to the showroom basically. How you can control the human brain basically, yeah? That is basically not legally it's not correct basically. Otherwise basically you will get into trouble basically. But that authority the company owner basically have. He can control which person is supposed to get which car to be sold. Same way basically in business development officer basically, in software industry basically, 1 lakh projects basically is given to this particular server basically, purchased this server. The company software company owner basically purchased this server, and he basically decides which business development officer is supposed to get which project to be sold. Sorry, which project basically can he purchase. Here basically we are purchasing the projects basically. So 1 lakh project basically they have basically. So they The company owner, one of the person to the company owner might be knowing this, software company owner basically might be knowing this. Then one of the person told that basically need to check here basically. If we have to do the SMS or we have to do the mail basically, how many people know this? So this basically can become as a forum basically. The question and answer basically. This is basically is supposed to be done by the company owner basically who, sorry, who are the basically Indian business development officers basically, who are basically top 10 business company basically owner. They can do the forum basically, how many people know this basically, which basically I told in this video and previous video basically. I am 100% sure basically 99 percentage customer, sorry, 99 percentage company owner might not be knowing this basically. If you want to check, you can check, and this is very dangerous and very shameful basically. But this is not shameful also basically, you can say, because it might be possible that there might be some reason to not given this control to the company owners basically. But 99% people, I am 100% sure, they might not be knowing this stuff basically. But they should know na basically. They are spending 1 crore rupees, 5 crore rupees, 10 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees in one server basically. So they should know that this server basically gives you this much output. Even basically the IBM server basically, if you are selling to the company basically, so they are basically not, lots of people say ऐसा तो नहीं है कि IBM server basically groups are controlling the company owners. Lots of people say this also basically. You can't able to believe it basically. For example, Microsoft sold one server basically. He is not controlling the company owners basically. Lots of people say it might possible that Microsoft might be controlling company owners. But up to that level, if you are spending 100 crore, you should control the brain, na, basically. Your brain is not supposed to control. But one of the person told that the entire business industry basically is working this way only basically. Entire business basically of the business development officers, entire sales basically, everything is controlled like this only. So this is also one of the small definition of the business development officers. But this is connecting to the server basically. One person basically asked the question basically, one girl basically asked the question, what is Sunil client and server relationship? So this is the best example, and this is connecting to automobile, aeroplanes, then the each and every technical, each and every digital world basically. So one of the person told that if condition you told while loop, that also might be connecting. That basically is the very dangerous thing basically. Through that only basically the people basically are controlling the brain basically. Because company gives everything basically to you, but you decides basically whether to use or not to use basically. So here basically business developments definitions basically, and that is connecting to the servers basically. So up to very dangerous level the servers are created basically. Not only very dangerous but very dangerous, and that is very dangerous. So one of the person told that as basically you are going to the big post, your responsibility increase very dangerous level basically. Not only dangerous but very dangerous. So one of the person told that what about the prime minister role basically of the India? What about the president's role? What about the chief minister role? They are basically how dangerous role basically they are playing. So how about the American president's role basically? How about the European president? If a normal company manager or company owner basically gets up to this level authority, so how big authority basically, how big permissions this people might have got basically. Up to what level basically the powers basically this group basically might have got. So that is very dangerous thing basically. So one person basically asked the question what actually the server is. So the server is connecting up to this level because it's a nowadays basically it's a digital world. So everything basically happens through digital only basically. So that's why basically I thought that I should display this everything basically in front of the YouTube channel basically, because I was asked the question by some girl basically. So that's why basically I given the answer that what actually the server and what actually the client relationship is. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about the PHP. This is actually PHP only basically, but it is connecting to the entire industries basically. That is client server relationship. Thank you basically.